Your sports. Your 1250 ESPN San Antonio.
We are back, and it is time for Between the Eights with Hall of Famer Drew Pearson. And Drew, it is just me, myself, and I. That's right, Steve Foster and you. And we have decided we are going to call you from here on out until you expire Hall of Famer Drew Pearson. You should be there, and that's how we're going to start it. We're just going to continue to say it until someone says, all right, we put him in. How you doing this morning?
I'm good, Steve. How are you, bro?
I'm doing well, thank you. A Monday night affair in AT&T Stadium. You played on. I've watched you play on Monday night. A different atmosphere when it comes to the National Football League.
Yeah, it really is. Even though the NFL has watered down weekday games with Thursday games and, you know, in some cases 2 or 3 Monday night games. And, you know, back in the day, excuse me, it used to be on ABC with Howard Cosell and Don Meredith and Frank Gifford. You know, it was always they made it something special to play on Monday night. And it still has that same kind of appeal because, you know, as you play, the whole nation usually is watching, or at least a lot of your peers from around the National Football League will be watching. So it's a great showcase, an opportunity to showcase your talents and gain some good exposure and let people know that the Cowboys are for real playing on national TV. And, of course, you're playing your rival Washington Redskins, and when you play them, you know, everybody's at 0-0. Throw the records out the window because it's an NFC East game, and it's the rival Washington Redskins.
We're talking with Drew Pearson. We're between the eights with the original 88 from the Dallas Cowboys. Drew, I know y'all did not like the Washington Redskins by any stretch of the imagination. What did you take away from this rivalry? I mean, it's classic.
Yeah, I take away the competitiveness of it, and that's what made it classic. You know, the rivalry was fully developed during my time, you know, with the Cowboys, and a lot of that had to do with, number one, the fact that George Allen now took over the Washington Redskins, and he pretty much turned over a bunch of guys that were just football players, good football players, but they really had no direction, and they, you know, were losers pretty much. But he turned them into winners, same guys. And it was the motivation, the philosophy, and the things like that that changed them, you know, almost overnight when he took over. So now, all of a sudden, the Redskins are vying for the NFC East title and getting in our way, the Cowboys' way. And in doing that, now the games became more important when you played each other because of you playing for the title. And therefore, they ended up being some pretty good football games. So the rivalry kind of got brewed or started to percolate when the Redskins got good. Now we're fighting for the NFC East title. And we kind of wanted to hold on to that, and they wanted to take over the division. So it became a great rivalry. And again, Steve, it was the same players that were losers or pretty much considered losers around the NFL, that now George Allen turned those players into winners. And then after George Allen, Joe Gibbs came in and kept that thing going. And now you got great games going when he was there against Jimmy Johnson. So there's a lot of history to the rivalry, and still to this day, it's still big for the NFL.
Absolutely, wholeheartedly agree. Let's turn ourselves to the Washington Redskins. They have been quarterback by committee. RG3, Kirk Cousins, and now the University of Texas' Colt McCoy will get the start in 2 days, day and a half. And, he's very serviceable. I really enjoyed watching him play when he was in college in the Austin area at the university. I think he has some poise, and working, with a week to prepare could pose at least an interesting game for the Dallas Cowboys defense.
Yeah, it could, and all due respect to Colt McCoy and all you Texas fans down in your area, Steve, Colt McCoy should not beat the Dallas Cowboys, okay?
Right.
There's a reason that he's not in Cleveland anymore. There's a reason he's third string with the Washington Redskins, and he's lucky to even have a job in the NFL. And things just fell into place with the injury to RG and the play of Cousins. And next man up happened to be Colt McCoy. So, I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback. He might be a serviceable one, as you mentioned. But still, he should not be able to beat the Dallas Cowboys, just like Austin Davis with St. Louis shouldn't beat the Dallas Cowboys, and he didn't beat the Dallas Cowboys. Ryan Fitzpatrick down in Houston should not beat the Dallas Cowboys, and he didn't beat the Dallas Cowboys. And Colt McCoy shouldn't beat the Dallas Cowboys, and hopefully tomorrow night he won't beat the Dallas Cowboys.
We're talking with Drew Pearson. We're between the eights with the original 88 of the Dallas Cowboys, Super Bowl champion, and we're going to give him also the up-and-coming, and we know he's going to be a Hall of Famer, Drew Pearson. And I will, as I said, and I will stand behind the assist in every way possible to have that occur. Drew, this defense, because you and I, we were offensive players, and we could sit there and, we could talk about the receptions and the routes and the carries and breaking the tackles. However, this defense is the one that is getting better, that is getting healthier, and as you mentioned, will stop Colt McCoy.
Yeah, they're really playing well, and it's a lot about discipline and hustle and players being accountable for what they do. And Rob Marinelli has done a good job in instilling that, within this football team. And with the defense, when you look at the guys, there's really no superstars on defense. There aren't even any stars on defense. And I think that's what their identity is. And, I don't think they want any stars. I think they want players that are hungry, players that are living up to their expectations, and players that just playing well, doing the fundamentals well, the basics of playing defense, being disciplined in their assignments, and being disciplined as far as tackling and going to the football. A lot of the players, you hear their comments, and they say, hey, we don't want one guy making a tackle. We want 6 or 7 guys at the football making tackles. And that's what you see with this defense. There's a lot of gang tackling. There's a lot of hustle to the football. And everybody's playing with that type of attitude. And then you add some turnovers to that, and they might give up a lot of yardage between the 20s, but man, they really have tightened up when teams have gotten inside their 20-yard line. They're only giving up 147 points a game. And if our offense can continue to average 25, 26, 27 points a game, at this pace, the defense will be giving up, 20 points or less a game. And that's going to bode pretty well. But one thing about the defense that has made them stronger is the fact that they're getting fewer snaps. And the reason they're getting fewer snaps is because the offense is controlling the time of possession. And the offense has done a great job this year, almost 57% on third down situations. And to me, Steve, when you look at the stats, two things that are more important, I think, than anything is, number one, third down stat, and number two, time of possession. Because third down stats lead to you controlling the time of possession in the football game, which means you're moving the football and having sustained drives. And that's what you see with our offense. We haven't had any one-play drives or two-play drives where you hit the big play. We had a few of those. But most of the touchdown drives that we had with this offense have been sustained drives. And you get that if you run the football, and you get that if you control the clock and get those third down situations in your favor. And that's why the offense is doing so well, but it also leads into why the defense is playing as well as it is right now as well.
We're talking with Drew Pearson, Between the Eights. Here, let me ask you one last question about the Redskins, and then get your prediction, because I think I want to see a defensive takeover for the Dallas Cowboys. Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon, do those two weapons for the Redskins pose at least some notice when it comes to playing defense for the Cowboys on Monday night?
Yeah, that's who they got to watch. You know, Redskins will run the football. They do pretty good with Alfred Morris and that group. But, man, they got the big playmakers and the real touchdown maker in Steven Jackson. And, of course, Pierre Garçon is a very good receiver. He's kind of like the possession receiver, and Jackson is the big play guy. But as we saw last week, Garçon can go deep, too. He went 80 yards or so on one reception. You miss a tackle on him, and he's a big, thick type of receiver. You miss a tackle on him, and he got the ability to take it to the house. So our secondary is going to have their work cut out. You know, one thing the defense hasn't done or provided is quarterback sacks. That could be misleading because we have a lot of quarterback hurries. We have a lot of hits on the quarterback, but we're not getting the sacks. So we got to keep the hurries going. We got to keep the hits on Colt McCoy going, and hopefully that will lead to some sacks. And when you got that kind of pressure on a quarterback, then your defensive secondary has a tendency to play a lot better. I got a feeling they're going to have their safeties deep in this game, and I think the last thing they want is for Steven Jackson or Pierre Garçon to get behind our defensive secondary. So they've been doing a good job of keeping everything in front of them, and hopefully they'll be able to do that with these guys as well.
Absolutely. We need some Randy White, Harvey Martin, and some too tall pressuring Colt McCoy, because when you get the sacks, it doesn't matter if you fell down in coverage, because the ball's not going to get thrown to any of those playmaking receivers, and Jordan Reed may be back. Nonetheless, like I said, focusing on the Cowboys defense, I believe Tony Romo, Inc., and DeMarco Murray take care of themselves at home. That's never been an issue, even when the games were high scoring and the defense may not have been playing as well as they have this year. Again, the score for the Monday night football game, Redskins, Cowboys.
Yeah, it'll be a Cowboy victory. I think we'll be able to handle these guys. Again, I hope they aren't taking them lightly. I don't think they are. I hear they had a good week of practice. They're getting players back. Bruce Carter should be back in full action. Anthony Spencer's taking full reps in practice now, and he's getting his game beat up under him. So the Cowboys are getting better as the season goes on, and I think they'll win this game 27-17.
Excellent. We're gonna ride that score all the way to Arizona.
We're 6-1 with that score. We got to keep going, man.
We got to keep it.
We don't want to do our part and jinx the Cowboys.
No.
We want to do our part and keep them going on the same pace that they're currently going right now.
Absolutely. And Drew, the last thing before we let you go, when you're winning, those guys that are injured are itching to get back and play, because who doesn't want to be a part of a winning NFL team, especially in a state like Texas where football is pretty much king, and you can be a part of an NFL franchise that is number one in the whole National Football League. Yeah, you want to get back on that field.
Yeah, there's no question about that. It's a good point. It gets them because they see players in their position,
right? Right.
Playing well, and they're saying, "Oh Lord, I better get off this training table and get back out there on the field, because if I don't, I might not have a position to go back to." So yeah, it provides a motivation for the guys to overcome those injuries a little faster and go through the NFL, A list, the B list, the C, the D list of trying to convince the trainers and the doctors and everybody that you're healthy enough to get back out there. And the players are chomping at the bit to get back on the field because they want to be part of this. They see from the sideline, from their position, their vantage point, that things are going good here, and they want to be part of that. And So nobody wants to be in the tub when things are happening on the field, that's for sure.
Exactly, especially when, again, you have the best record in the NFL. You're going to play on Monday night. A lot of people will be showing up and saying, what are you going to be doing for this Monday night? It's different than, your Sunday routine.
Yeah, it'll be a little different from me. I'm doing a little golf tournament with Too Tall and Randy White, and then head to the stadium and actually got about 3 suite visits. Going to visit a few suites. I can go to the games now because, as you said, it's Monday night, and I don't have my Sunday night responsibilities. So I can go to the game, enjoy the game, and visit with the fans and visit some suites and hang out a little. But that's pretty much what I'll be doing throughout the football game.
Well, I tell you, I may actually
make it. If you see a crazy man running out there on the field, getting fired up, an old man out there, that's me, because I get fired up when the Cowboys and Redskins get together, that's for sure.
As well you should. Well, I actually may be in the stadium, so I will communicate with you offline, and would love to say hello up in your fair city and part of the world that you have made world famous, that being the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and just say hello. But we certainly appreciate this segment Between the Eights with Drew Pearson. That's right, Super Bowl champion, and we are pulling extremely hard for you to be a Hall of Famer. And again, we're working on that and look forward to, once football season has subsided, get with you on that and strategize. And it's great to have you in the Ring of Honor. However, your just desserts should be also in Canton.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate your support, bro.
Absolutely. And we will come back. Thanks, Drew. 27-17, Cowboys win in AT&T Stadium. Make it a chance to say hello to him if I'm up there. And we will take this sidebar, come back, have a short segment, and then get to the AAU. Focus on U Sports with our man, Rod Chico Tanner. Right here and a lot more on Laying Down the Law.